So in this video, we're going to go through some more examples of factorising into a single bracket. So we're going to start off with x squared plus x. Now, in this case, we don't have, we only have 1 and 1 at the front of the two x's. So the highest common factor of that would be 1. So you could write 1, but we're not going to bother. Okay, so once you've exhausted looking at the coefficients, you then look at the two terms and see if there's any algebra that is similar to both. Okay, so x squared and x. Now remember that x squared is x times x. So what we have here is x times x plus x. So if you're thinking about what are the factors of this term and this term, well, if we write in the ones as well, you're looking at what is common to both. So they both have 1, they both have a factor of x, and that's where the similarities end. So you can see that x squared and x, they both have a factor of x, and that is what I'm going to factor outside of the single bracket. So x squared divided by x is just x to the power of 1, and then we have x divided by x, which is just 1. So x squared plus x factorises to x plus 1. Okay, so also make sure that you can multiply this back and you should end up with this. So x times x is the x squared, x times 1 is the x. So we're good. Let's take a look at number 2. So you look at the coefficients first. We've got a 2 and we've got the 4. They both have a factor of 2. The highest common factor is 2. So that can come outside of the bracket. Now, unlike the first example, where they both terms had x involved, these two terms do not both have x. This has x involved as a factor, but x is not a factor of 4. So 2 is the only number, or the only expression, shall we say, that I can bring out of that bracket. It's the only factor that is of both terms. So 2x squared divided by 2 is x squared, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. So this factorises to 2x squared plus 2. Okay, so now let's see if we can bring those two ideas together and look at 2x squared plus 4x. So look at the coefficients first, the 2 and the 4. They have a highest common factor of 2, so that can come out. And both terms have a factor of x as well. So that can come out of the bracket as well. Okay, so in this case we could only factor out the x. In this case we could factor out the 2. In this case we could factor out both the 2 and the x. So 2x squared divided by 2x, well 2 divided by 2 is 1, x squared divided by x is just x. And 4x divided by 2x is 2. So 2x times x makes the 2x squared, 2x times 2 makes the 4x. That is now fully factorised. So let's take a look at number 4. We have 12x take away 4x squared. So first of all, look at the coefficients, 12 and 4. They have a highest common factor of 4. Okay, so we can factor 4 out. They both have x involved as well. So we can factor x out. So 12x divided by 4x would be 3. And 4x squared divided by 4x would be x. So it would be minus x. Okay. Again, if you're not so happy with the division, It does take a little bit of practice. You might be happier thinking about it from this point of view of saying, well, what do I need to multiply 4x by to make 12x? Well, that would be 3. 3 lots of 4x makes 12x. And then what would I need to multiply the 4x by to make minus 4x squared? It would have to be minus, and I need an x squared, so it has to be an x. So you can think about it that way as well, if you're more inclined. Number 5, 15x take away 20x squared. Look at the coefficients first, 15 and 20. They have a highest common factor of 5, so I can factor that out. They both have x involved, so I can factor x out. 15x divided by 5x, well, that's 3. Minus 20x squared divided by 5x, well, minus 20 divided by 5 is minus 4, and then x squared divided by x is x. So we would have 5x times 3 take away 4x, and that's now fully factorised.